Welcome to another episode of The Latest with Maya. Today, I am so happy to be having a conversation with actors and my friends Hope Lauren and Daniel Dorr. Thank you so much for being on my show. I'm so excited to be talking with you again.
Thank you so much for
Thanks for
having
having
us,
us. It's an
Maya.
honor to be on your show,
We
finally.
love talking to you.
I love talking to you guys. Yeah, so let's get started. Um, yeah. So your new movie, Pure O, is one of my favorite movies. It's such a powerful story about OCD. What drew you to this project?
Um, I mean, I think the subject matter, I think it's something that I certainly didn't know much about, and something that was introduced to me through my friend Dylan Tucker, who wrote and directed it, who had based it, very much on his experience with OCD. So I was drawn to mm, needing to tell the story, feeling a strong need to tell the story that people should know about this, and hopefully see themselves in it with any sort of mental health disorder or anxiety or depression. I think the movie is more than just about OCD, and I thought it was an important story to tell. So I couldn't help but say yes to it right away.
And similar to Daniel, I feel like this sounds maybe kind of corny, but like the first thing that made me really want to make movies was that feeling that you get when you go see something and you see sort of yourself represented in a way that feels really honest for the first time, and you feel kind of seen and less alone. And when I read the script, that was the feeling it gave me. And it also, I learned so much about this thing that I felt like I've only seen one sort of version of. And it was so cool to learn about this through the script. And I was like, oh, I'd really love to be a part of getting to tell this story.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So you two are a couple in real life. Were there any challenges to playing a couple on screen?
You know, I think that we thought that there were going to be, we like had a lot of very we had a lot of conversations about like specific boundaries and how we were going to sort of enter and exit these characters, like on the drive to set, on the drive home, whatever. And we talked about it a lot. And then I think that it kind of ended up feeling a lot easier than we were expecting. uh I think for me it did. My biggest problem is that I really love to run lines and Daniel doesn't really love to run lines. And you think that because you live with someone, maybe they'll run lines with you, and he wouldn't. And so that was my biggest challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was your biggest challenge,
That was my
really?
biggest challenge, was
Just
that
wanted to.
yeah, my scene partner wouldn't run lines with me even though he lives in the same house
Yeah.
that I do. That was my
Yeah,
challenge.
I just wanted to keep her on her toes. But yeah, I think to what Hope said, just to second that, I think I certainly thought it might be more difficult because of the subject matter, because without giving too much away, these two people, Cooper and Emily in the movie, go through some very difficult things together. And I was sort of freaked out by how that would just be for us as a couple, but it was so easy, and it was so light, and because we had so much trust between the two of us, it made everything easier. It made it so we could go to these kind of crazy and uncomfortable places and then come back and be totally fine, and then we could just talk about what we wanted to get for dinner that night. So it was nothing but an asset, and it made the journey so much more lived in, and it was one less thing to think about, to be honest, because we're so familiar with each other.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I was gonna say I'm still not convinced that you didn't pay Daniel to say all this stuff.
Look, hey,
Oh, thanks, Maya.
neither here nor there.
Oh.
He loves me. I'm an asset. Say it again.
I love you too.
I'm a pleasure to work with.
I was gonna say, I'm still not convinced he's not just a paid actor. So
Yeah, Maya was my friend first, and then Daniel showed up, and she was like, well, "He seems a little too good."
That's
Hope,
right.
did you
Invited
hire him?
to come and have dinner with us?
Which was very flattering, by the way. Thank you.
yeah, yeah. um, so who has had the biggest impact on the person you have become?
Oh, that's a really good question. The big, just like in our lives, or
Yeah.
oh, that's a good question. I feel like my mom would kill me if I didn't say my mom.
Mhm.
You know, I think, but I think it's true. I think I my mom is just kind of an incredible person who overcame a bunch of hurdles to be the sort of, am I allowed to say badass?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can cut it out. To be the sort of badass that she is. And she also never gave me the idea that I couldn't do this. You know, it was kind of crazy that I wanted to be an actor since I was a kid, and she supported me doing it. I wanted to do it as a child, and she was kind of like, let's not do that. Let's have you be a child first. And am actually, I hated that at the time, but I am really grateful for it. And then she also just, you know, drove me to auditions and let me do this. And when I told her when I was in high school that I didn't want to go to college, I wanted to just move to LA, she, you know, she drove me there. So and she's, you know, been the person that I call whenever I'm at the bottom of my barrel, being like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And she's always been there to kind of give me support. Yeah, I couldn't do any of it without her.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think both my parents, my dad and my mom, I think having, my dad was an actor and my mom used to be an opera singer for a long time. And so having two artistic parents, understanding how difficult this job is and this life can be, and still having them support me since I was a kid and through high school and through drama school. And I don't know whether I could have done it without their support and their continued support. So I owe them both a lot. And also just my community of friends. And, we all have friends that are fans of ours, and just, you can't do it without a community of people that are
Yeah.
that are rooting for you,
Supporting you, picking you up. It's yeah.
So I think
we're
very lucky to have that from many different corners. But yeah, I think my parents for sure get an MVP award.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what song, no matter how many times you hear it, can always make you emotional?
Emotional. I thought you were gonna say dance, and I was like, oh, emotional. What's the song that I listen to when I need to cry?
I guess you don't have to necessarily cry.
No, you don't have to necessarily. Emotional doesn't necessarily mean sad. I mean, I really love Vienna by Billy Joel, which, by the way, Ben Platt does a really beautiful cover of. I'm sure that you know that. But I like Vienna by Benny by Billy Joel. Be my
Benny Joel.
friends. I call him Ben.
His cousin is a singer.
But I don't know. Whenever I listen to that song, I always get a little bit emotional.
I think any Leonard Cohen song will always make me emotional. I will always start to weep. And also, one of the songs that I always go back to, I mean, there's a few of them, but there's a song by Father John Misty called Leaving LA, which I love very much. And another song of his called Goodbye, Mr. Blue. And yeah, it gets me every time.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, there's so many Ben Platt songs for me that just always make me cry. And then also Because of You by Kelly Clarkson. That's
Oh, that's a good one. That's an OG. Like I remember listening to that in my Walkman.
Is that your
But like
sign
the
for
CD,
Walkman?
the
Yeah.
CD Walkman. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're literally roller skating around my neighborhood listening to that song. Very nostalgic. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Uh,
So Taylor Swift's Blank Space is one of my favorite songs.
That's one of his
It's also a
favorite
good song.
songs. That's like one of
Yeah.
you're feeling down and you need to cheer yourself up. He like blasts Blank
Yeah,
Space.
I mean it's just it's an amazing song.
It's a bop.
It's a real bop.
yeah. It is, yeah. Leia and I, our go-to Taylor Swift song is when we're driving around is her 10-minute version of All Too Well that we just roll down the windows and like scream all the words.
Said you just scream cry to that. It is
Yeah.
like a good like
I mean,
heart-wrenching anthem.
She's
yeah,
so
I mean, it's not one that we try to really. It's just it's like our go-to for when we're driving around somewhere together.
I love
totally.
that.
That's awesome.
So what small things bring you joy on a daily basis?
I mean, she's right under the table on my toes right now, but my dog, our dog, sorry,
dog,
our
yeah.
dog. And she's not small. She's like, well, she's
She's a
medium.
big girl.
She's 60
She's
pounds.
60 pounds, yeah.
But she, I mean, even if I'm having a terrible day, just looking at her makes me happy. And like watching her catch a frisbee, and in the morning, a lot of times she'll come and pounce on us and be a little slinky. And she's my best friend.
Yeah.
I hear my best friend. She's my best friend, and she makes me so happy
Yeah.
every single day.
I have to second that. I mean, she's incredible.
Yeah.
She also like gives good structure to the day,
Yeah, she does.
There's certain things that have to get done because she needs our help, and it just whatever we might be going through, she'll just take us out of it. It's
Yeah,
the
she's
best.
a constant.
Yeah, she's our emotional support animal.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah, my dog, or my family's dog is, our emotional and really my emotional support dog. She just
Yeah.
whenever any of us are like not feeling well, or I don't know, she can sense it and she just like won't leave our side. And she usually like she always sleeps with me at night, which is my favorite thing because she just
Yeah.
curls up by my feet. Um,
You're the lucky one. She chose
So
you.
cute.
yeah.
My family dog, I always wanted to be the chosen one that the dog slept with, and I wasn't very often. Lucky she was like, Maya's my girl. What's her name again?
Roni.
Roni?
Roni.
Yeah.
Wait, you told me why it would like macaroni or something. What is it?
I'll
Oh, you have
probably
to tell me later.
something I'll tell you later. Probably something I shouldn't say on air.
Copy that.
So I'll tell you afterwards.
Nice.
Okay, thank you.
Um, so as you both know, I am pop culture obsessed and I go on stages of shows that I cannot stop watching. Is there a show that you are currently obsessed with?
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
is it, Hope?
The West Wing, baby. I, for whatever reason, had never seen The West Wing. I am a big Sorkin fan, and I was obsessed with The Newsroom for a long time, but I never watched The West Wing. And I started, I don't know, like a month ago, and now I'm into season like 6, and I can't stop. It's just the acting is so good, the writing is so good. I love it. The West Wing, love.
I've been watching this show on HBO called Tokyo Vice that Ansel Elgort is the lead of, and I love it.
So much he loves
It's
it.
kind of like a really like moody thriller noir show, but it's just really well done, and it takes place in Tokyo in the 90s, and it just has a really, really awesome atmosphere, and the acting is really good, and it's just really well done, and I'm obsessed with it.
Yeah. We watch a lot of shows together, but those are our shows that like we come home and then we split off into our little corners. And I'm like, West Wing time, Tokyo Vice time.
I love that.
Yeah.
I tried watching The West Wing a few years ago,
Yeah.
and I watched, I think, like half of the first episode, and
Yeah.
they talked so fast I could not keep up with it.
Yeah, it took me a few
A lot.
times. It took me a few times. I like tried to watch it a few times, then finally I like got through. But yeah, it takes a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just finished rewatching for I don't even know how many times I've rewatched it at this point. But the show White Collar,
Yeah.
Neither have I.
it just recently came back on Netflix,
Okay.
and it's like one of my favorite shows ever. It's with Matt Bomer.
Oh,
yeah, that
Okay.
one.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
And yeah, and it's so good, and it's back on Netflix, and I was so happy when it came back.
That's so cool. Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
we'll
we'll
try
check it
watching
out.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good. Yeah.
Oh.
Um, yeah. So what genre of movie would your life story be told as?
I mean,
Come on, Hope. Easy.
a dramedy, a
A
farce.
romantic comedy.
Oh, a romantic comedy. That's very nice. A satire. No. I mean, a rom-com. I feel like like a I mean like a dark comedy, you know? Whenever things are really bad, they're also funny, you know?
Yeah.
Talk about like friends in a community and whatever. Whenever things are really bad, I always have friends who will show up and make me laugh even at the worst times.
Yeah.
That sounds dark that it's like a dark comedy. I just think that it's, you know, it's a dramedy for sure. You know, lots of laughter,
Yeah.
lots of emotional roller coasters. Um, but yeah, that's what I think. Magical realism.
Whoa, this is a crazy movie.
What's yours? What's yours?
I don't know. I think it's mostly a comedy. Like, you know,
Alright.
it'd be like like a farce and a comedy, satire.
Yeah, mine is more dramatic than yours. Maybe not really, but like I've got the darkness.
But you know, like, you know, if you're doing comedy, the stakes have to be even higher, you know, so yours would probably also be just a comedy.
Yeah, probably.
Not just a comedy.
I hear you though.
Look at us trying to figure this out.
Yeah, that's I'm gonna be thinking about that all day.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be driving around and be like, oh, this should have been my answer.
It's actually a thriller. It's like a spy novel. Oh.
Yeah. Well, I love yeah, watching you guys trying to figure it out.
It's a good
Yeah.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah. There what this is random, but kind of related to what that we're talking about. There was a few years ago, there's this show where one of the guys like wanted to make his life like a rom-com, and his sister said life is not a rom-com. If anything, it's a psychological thriller where she, she said where every turn someone is trying to trick you or kill you.
You know what?
You know what? It's not
wrong.
not wrong.
Yeah.
Not wrong.
Yeah.
It oftentimes very much feels like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It does.
Totally.
It also feels like a satire. It feels like we're satirizing reality right now. You know what I mean? Deep thoughts. Deep thoughts with hope.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sorry. Sorry, Maya. Go on.
Um, so what 3 words best describe you?
Oh man. goofy, emotional, resilient. It's a little tooting my own horn, but
I think you have to toot your own little horn a little bit. Toot your own little
I toot
horn.
my own little horn a little bit. I think that. What did I
Yeah.
say? Wait, what did I
Yeah,
say?
you said goofy, emotional, resilient.
Yeah, I think so.
I think mine, certainly Goofy would be one of mine. Goofy, right?
I think so.
Goofy.
You're a silly goose for sure.
I'm a silly goose. Patient.
Yes.
For some reason, and goofy, patient,
Kind.
kind, maybe.
You're just very kind.
Yeah, let's go with kind.
Yeah.
Well, I agree with those.
Thanks, Maya.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I needed that validation. Thank you.
Yeah. So of all that you have accomplished so far, is there something you are most proud of?
I honestly think I'm most proud of not giving up. I know that maybe sounds corny, but I think I'm the most proud of just hanging in there. You know, every time I get to work, I'm so thrilled and I'm just so happy I get to keep doing it. Oh, I'm really proud of Babyfoot.
Yeah.
Yeah, we did a play over, oh, it would have been so cool if you got to see it. We did a play over like the last 8 months basically. And I love it. It was so rewarding. It was such a rewarding experience. It was about addiction and recovery and, you know, resilience and like second chances. And I feel very like privileged to have gotten to be a part of that play.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm super proud of that too.
Yeah.
And I'm proud of this movie of Pure O,
For
it's
sure.
the first real lead in a film that I've done at this point in my career, and I'm really proud of the work and the story and how it was put together. And I'm super proud of it. I really am. And it's nice that it's out there in the world now, and we get to see it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, you should be.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. So do you have any irrational fears?
Yeah. For me, it's spiders of all kinds. I remember trying to explain, like I used to have horrifying arachnophobia. And even if it's like in a cage very far away, or if it's like the most chill, non-poisonous, docile spider, I can't handle it. I never want to kill them. I would just like for them to stay out of sight and, do their own thing away from me. So spiders, all of them. All of
Yeah.
them. Every time I go through airport security, I think that I'm gonna get arrested for whatever reason. I like think that they're gonna somehow magically find like methamphetamine in my backpack for no reason. Not there.
Yeah.
I don't know how we've gotten there, but I think that somehow they're gonna get me.
I'm gonna start planting things on you.
Please don't.
Exposure therapy.
Please don't.
Yeah.
I'm arrested if you want to get over
Oh
it.
my God.
Um, so what is something people are always surprised to learn about you?
What is something people are surprised? I think people are surprised to know that like you're from Germany.
Yeah.
Well, like all of a sudden you speak fluent German and they're like, whoa. No?
I don't know what people think.
I guess that's true.
I don't know what people think.
I don't know. That's such a good question.
I think people maybe sometimes don't like, they're like, oh, like, we didn't know that you were like funny.
I had that feeling whenever
You had
we
that
first, I
feeling.
did,
Yeah.
because he was just so like hot and cool that I saw him like in a play or something, and you were very funny, and I was like, oh, he's funny. Yeah, that was a incorrect judgment to assume that because he was so hot, he wouldn't be funny.
Yeah,
There's
maybe
lots
that's
of
just
hot people who
specific
are
to
funny. Yeah, maybe that's I don't know. Ah, Maya, I don't know.
Hope's in the hot seat.
Well, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah.
And people think about you?
The people are surprised when they find out.
I don't know. I don't know how anybody can't like just not think that you're like the sweetest, kindest, most talented person, you know?
That's nice.
Right?
It's just a nice
You know?
thing to say.
It's not a nice thing to say, but it's not kind of like, oh man, like, did you know that Hope is actually a serial killer? You know what I mean? Like,
You're not supposed to say that out loud. You know what, actually, though, on a serious note, speaking of the movie, like going back to Pure O, I suffer from some pretty intense mental disorders. And whenever I do decide to share that with people, they are pretty shocked. Because I'm so charming and sunny. No, but seriously, whenever I do decide to like share that with people, they're all like, whoa, I would have no idea. And I do think that the movie does deal a lot with Pure O specifically, which is about, nonstop intrusive thoughts. It's something that people suffer from in kind of very often an invisible way,
Yeah.
that they're just dealing with by themselves. And I think that it's a disorder, and there are certain disorders that you have to like share with people in order to get help. And people can, as when you've only seen one version of something represented in media and films and books, whenever you see it represented in a different way of like, oh, you just seemed like a functional, fun person, and you're actually suffering from this really, debilitating thing. I had no idea. And I think that the movie has a lot to do with that. And I have a little bit of that with things that I struggle with.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you keep yourself motivated to create even on days when you aren't fully feeling it?
I feel like that's a really, really good question. I feel like, do you know the author Neil Gaiman? He
Yeah.
writes,
Yeah.
he did a really beautiful what is it called? A speech that you give at graduations, commencement speech, where he talks about, he was like, if you're like, he's like, no matter what, just make art. If you're feeling sad, make art about it. If you're feeling happy, make art about it. If you're feeling scared, make art about it. And I think I've gotten in a pretty good habit of, if I'm feeling some sort of feeling that is too big or scary or painful to keep inside, to pick up my guitar and write a song or a poem or whatever. And I think that that's like kind of the best thing art and creativity can do, is channel big, scary, intense feelings and make something out of them.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's hard. Sometimes you're like, I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But then what motivates me is the fact that I always feel better after I do.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think that I do know. I do know. I think that it's usually like the work of like other people sometimes for me, and like watching a great movie or a great TV show or seeing a play. I think seeing people do good work, or even a song, it kind of, whatever feeling you get from seeing something, it just is always going to be, I think, inspiration in a moment when I'm certainly feeling down or discouraged, or I don't know. I think it's other people's work that sometimes gives me permission to be like, no, it'll be okay. it's still worth it. And,
Yeah.
you just need to keep creating regardless. But I do feel very much like, yeah, other people's work is what kind of then convinces me that I need to keep pushing and, moving on.
Oh, I love that. Yeah, I love those. And so I just have two more questions if that works for you. Um, so do you have a go-to show or movie that you just turn on when you just want to be comforted and escape the world?
I think The
Well, The
Office.
Office is what we
Yeah.
watch usually.
The Office is like, I feel like nothing that bad can be happening if The Office is on.
Yeah.
Like just turning that on in the background is always like
The Office, Friends.
The Office friend. I mean, for me, I love a good Gilmore Girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I like to start that in the fall, as many of us do. But yeah, The Office all year round, all the time.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. And then also like I love watching some I like The Big Lebowski is one of my go-to. The Birdcage is one of my all-time favorite movies. I think it's one of the funniest movies ever made. It's like a go-to for sure. But yeah. Yeah.
Cool. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, I have I have so many that I just like rotate between. Um, so yeah, that I just like switch from one to the next.
Totally. That makes sense.
Yeah, you watch all the
Yeah,
shows.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love inspiring and motivational quotes. And this week, my favorite quotation is, if you don't heal what hurt you, you'll bleed on people who didn't cut you. Is there a quotation that has inspired you lately?
Ooh, I love that. That's really good. I love that.
That's a really
You
great
do
one.
gotta, heal them wounds. I think I forget who said it. I might have to look it up. Uh, what is it goes, ever try, ever fail, no matter. Try again, fail better. And I think about that all the time because I have a big fear of failure, and sometimes it keeps me from trying new things or sharing new things or putting things out there. And that quote always sort of reassures me that, like, all right, try, fail, try again, fail better. It's, if you're making art, if you're in the world, you're gonna have moments of failure, learn from them, do it again, fail again, you'll keep going, fail better.
I'm just gonna steal that one from you, Hope.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah. I can't think of one off the top of my head, but that's a really beautiful one. So
Yeah, I think about it all the time.
Oh, I love that. Yeah.
yeah.
Um, well, yeah, so that was my final question for you guys. I have had the best time talking with you. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.
Thank
Thanks,
you so
Maya.
much.
Thanks for having us. It was
We
such
love getting to talk to you. You have like the best
You
questions
do have
that
the
I'm
best
probably going to think
questions.
about for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And yeah, thank
Yeah.
you so much for having us.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. It always makes my day to see you guys and talk to you, so thank you.
Thanks,
Us
Maya.
too.
Have us back.
Yeah, yeah, have us
Come on.
Yeah.
You love it so much.
Whenever you guys want to come back on, I'd love to have you.
Anytime, man.
Anytime.
We're excited to see you next month.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wait to see you guys. Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Thank you. Yeah, and that's a wrap on today's edition of The Latest with Maya.